Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please gather your loins together for the Vobes show on the 9th of September 2020. We'll begin very, very soon. Thank you. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to me, the Vobe, on the 9th of September 2020. And it's very nice to see you here. And I'm glad you've all come to get together today to gather round in the sight of the Bald One. It's very nice of you. Thank you so much. And then welcome to another exciting Vobe show. Yes, bright and cheerful, full of sunshine. That's what we like to be here on this show. Anyway, hello to the lovely Julia, who is out there watching and waving her blue spanner. Making sure that anybody is and everybody is behaving themselves. Ernie Samet is there, the lovely Glastonbury Gabriel, Roy Ballinger. We have Robert Brailsford, who says, "Richard, get off my land!" He said, "Get off my land, you beggar!" I'm sorry. He says, "There's something in the post for you. Hope you receive it tomorrow." Well, I look forward to receiving it tomorrow. I've got to go out and make a video tomorrow. Didn't do one today, but there is a video for tomorrow. I had to hang around today. Kerry Baldwin is also out there. Audrey Forbes, the lovely Judith. Hello, lovely Judith. She's also swinging a blue spanner from left to right, which is very nice. And Days of Yours says, "Hello, all of you." Glastonbury Gabriel, of course, I've just mentioned him, so I've mentioned him twice now. Clive Waterfall is also there. Ron Langley, Kate Evans, Mike Dixon, Connor's Dark Corner, Stephen Amond says, "Hi, R." And how is the sanctuary, Kate, says the lovely Julia. Oh, yes, how is the sanctuary? We want to know. Kerry Baldwin, Matt Dow. "As the evenings draw in, I'm having hot chocolate in my new Bald Explorer mug." Oh, how marvellous. I haven't got my Bald Explorer mug with me today. I've got taxi service with a hot cup of tea. And I feel a sneeze coming on, in actual fact. Any sec now. Here it comes. Achoo! Oh. Oh, look at those. Look at them go. Look at them. Look at them. Jolly little fellas. Oh, hello. Keep them for later, I think. Might boil them up, have them on toast. Always nice. Ed Loud says, "Good evenings, everyone," or some such nonsense, which is very nice. John F. says, "Bless you." Thank you. Very kind of you, John F., coming along on tonight's show. And Mark Flinders. Hello there. Hello there. Well, today I had to get the old locksmith in today to break into my father's house. Now, here's a funny thing. Here's a funny thing. Now, I'd like to know what you think about this. So I had to break into the house because what happened was, story goes like this: once upon a time in the land of Dingley Dell, where men were men and women were small furry creatures at the bottom of a trout farm. That's rather nasty, isn't it? But no. What happened was this. I gets a phone call from the estate agent saying, "Oh, hello, is that Mr. Vobes?" "Yes." "We want to let some potential buyers into the house, but we can't get in the house, you see. The Chubb lock is fine, but the Yale isn't working." "Oh, damn. Okay. Is there any chance you could get down there to see if you can fix it?" "Yes, of course. I'll go down as soon as I can." So I swiftly drive down there in my Vobemobile. And I get down there, and lo and behold, yes, the Chubb lock won't open. I think that's very odd, very odd. Feels like the little lock on a Chubb, you know, what do they call it? The snib. The snib has dropped down. So I thought, well, I don't know what I'm going to do now. There's no other way in. There's no other back door or anything like that that's accessible without taking a ladder and climbing over the roof to the back garden. Can't do that. So I think I'll have to ring up a locksmith. So ring up a locksmith, very nice locksmith. How much? 75 quid just for the call out. Blimey, 75 quid. What, and you'll just get a bit of paper, won't you? And you'll just go like that, and it'll ping open, I thought. So that's what we arranged to meet, and we met. He said, oh, can I come on Wednesday? I said, yeah, there's no hurry, it's an empty property. So turn up on Wednesday, gets his thing, tries to do this, and then he gets 2 or 3 of them. It's a bit tough, isn't it? Yeah, it is tough. Gets it, it won't go in. No, nobody in, actually. There's no point knocking. Oh, sorry. We tried everything. He had a funny little U-shaped thing which he stuck through the letterbox like this, like that. It was red and white striped, and I thought he was looking for milk. Do you remember the Humphreys? Anyway, no, it was a U-shaped thing, and he said he's trying to get it onto the catch to lift up the lock. Well, that didn't work, so didn't know what to do about that. So in the end, he said, I'm really sorry. In order to get in, we'll have to drill the lock out. Oh, right, okay. How much is that going to be? 120 quid. All in. 120. All right, okay. So anyway, he spent some time and he drilled it in, and he was a lot of effort to get in, and he knocked it through, and yeah, the little snub was still stuck in the lock. Anyway, he opened the door. And on the floor inside the house was all the post, you know, all the sort of spam mail that you get, all that sort of rubbish. And a parcel, a long parcel, about this long, you can't really see it, about that long. Funny enough, to a bloke not at that address. And when I looked at the address, it wasn't even the correct address. And it was delivered by Hermes, the courier people. And I thought, wait a minute. I didn't put that inside the doorway. So there's 1 or 2 things happened. One, that somebody was in the house, presumably, and the only person who's got the keys, other than my sister who's in Devon, who wouldn't have been there, she would have told me, would have been the estate agent. And so either what happens, Hermes comes at that moment and says, oh, I got a parcel for you, here you are. And they went, oh, thanks very much. And just leaned it against the wall. Leant? Which is correct? Leaned it against the wall, or was it leant against the wall? Anyway, whatever they did, it was against the wall inside the hall. And then they clearly left. The other option is that they arrived at the house, saw it in the porch, and brought it in. Either way, it was brought into the house. I wasn't in the house, and it wasn't there when I last left the house. So I know I wasn't the last one to shut the door. And the locksmith said, yes, the snib had been put down. So when it was shut, you couldn't turn the key. So I rang up the estate agent and said, look, there's a parcel in here. It's not for me. It's been delivered to the wrong address. But not only that, I didn't take it in. So somebody else took it in. The only people who got the keys, bar my sister who's in Devon, who would have, is you guys. Therefore, you shut the door incorrectly, and I think you should pay the bloody fee of 120 for a new lock. What do you think? Now, of course, they'll turn around, I'm sure, and say, prove it. And, of course, that's where the problem comes. Estate agent brought in the parcel. Exactly, that's it. I didn't. The thing about it is, of course, I wouldn't have brought the parcel in because it wasn't for me. And it was the address was similar. It was like, instead of 24 Acacia Avenue, it was like a 24 Acacia Close with a different name. That isn't his address, by the way. 24 Acacia Avenue, in case you're asking, is a completely different address. But that's the sort of type of thing it was. So if it would have been me, I would immediately have gone, oh, wait a minute, that's not me. And not only that, it's not even my address. So I wouldn't have brought it in. And I certainly wouldn't have left it there because the 24 Acacia Close, or whichever is the opposite direction of wherever it was I first started from, is only round the corner. So, of course, I would have just dropped it round. I wouldn't have left it in the property. So the, wriggle room becomes a little bit more. Mark Selwood has arrived. By the way, let's get a big fanfare for Mark Selwood, and here it is. Nice to see you, Mark. There we are. Got a lovely bunch of coconuts out for you. So there we are. Just about to suggest that, says Andrew. Wait a minute. Get in touch with Hermes and see if the parcel was signed for. Ah, there you go. That would be interested. Kevin dropped it off, says Robert Croser. I don't think Kevin was the driver. You You can't get in touch with Hermes, says Judith. No, I bet that's it. Someone's missing a parcel. Well, I know who the parcel is, and stupidly, of course, I haven't taken it back to the owner because I've left it in there. I took photographs and everything, but I did leave it in there in case. So I'll have to go back at the weekend once I've spoken to the estate agent, and I've sent them the pictures immediately. So, yeah. I want them to acknowledge that at least there is an issue before I then deliver the parcel back to the poor sod who's ordered something through Hermes. So there we go. No parcels are signed for at the moment. That's very true. So, yeah, there you go. Open it and put it on eBay. I'm not going to do that. I'm making bread, says Archie Jenner right now. Do you not listen to a word I've said? You're not interested? One iota. I'm just going to go and make bread. You're a bit dull and boring at the moment. I've got my hands full of flour and yeast. Well, that's always nice. Anyway, so estate agent absolutely, says Mark. Yeah, so I think 120 quid. I mean, it may have been a completely innocent thing, but I wasn't the last one to shut the door. So, you know, if they paid half, if we said, OK, look, I didn't bring it in, it's your word against mine, you pay half, I'll pay half, we call it quits, I would not object to that. I would be fair. But, you know, if they're going to pay for the whole lot, then even better. Why not? I didn't shut the door. Anyway, so there we go. That was that little story, and thank you very much for indulging me on that. So that's all very good. We have got some videos in today's show. We're going to start, ladies and gentlemen, with Dave Ford, because Dave Ford has sent in what he calls a blooper. See what... Oh, hello. See what you think.
Well, eventually the industry became uneconomic here. The coming of the railways was an important part of the history of the... action. Well, eventually the coming of the railways had a big effect on the industry. It became uneconomic to...
Yeah, well, that was it. That was it. That was apparently that's a blooper. Dave, I don't know if you're watching, but it's in the show. I was expecting more. A cow went past, you didn't even acknowledge the cow, you just forgot your line. That even the cow didn't get a mention.
Well, eventually the industry became uneconomic here. The coming of the railways was an important part of the history of the... action. Well, eventually the coming of the railways had a big effect on the industry. It became uneconomic to...
Action. Eventually, the coming of the railways became uneconomic. The cows were taking all the flack, and it was absolutely superb. Anyway, so that's now. If you've got an outtake that can beat that, I would love to see it. Send it in to richard@vobes.com via WeTransfer, and we'll play it in. That's the phone ringing. Let's find out who's calling on the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi show. Let's find out who it is. Hang on a minute, I've got to find the fader. Hello, call.
Good evening, Worthing.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
Is it Glastonbury Gabriel?
It is.
So, how are you, dear boy?
I'm very well. All the better for seeing you back on the screens again.
Yeah. Because did you miss me yesterday?
I did miss you yesterday, yes, terribly. I was pining for the Vobes.
I know, it can happen. I get letters from all over the world. Most of them are saying,
French?
please stop. Get some... Yeah, please stop. I beg you.
Cease and desist orders, yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. It is people's lawyers, and they say, look, YouTube haven't taken you off the air yet. We don't understand why. We are going to come round and take your lights away, your camera away, your microphone away, you poor snithering little bald bloke. Snithering? That's not the right word, is it?
Sneezing, not snivelling.
Yeah, oh yeah, sneezing. Snivelling is what the word I was trying to find. Snivelling. Snivelling is a good word. Anyway, so I am here and you were pining, so I'm very pleased to hear that.
Yes.
I noticed that you have sent in another of your wonderful videos, and this I read with astoundment. Said, a first for me. I've managed to film it and edit it and upload it all in a day.
Yeah, first for me.
And I thought, And?
I know. It's like,
I thought...
to a professional like your good self, that's nothing. But
365 days of the year, mate.
yes, I know.
But no,
that's
well done.
why you've got 13,000 and I've got 265, I guess.
Well, I'm sure we can get 264 in a minute.
Yes.
The more we talk about it, the less we can strip off.
I just wanted to comment on your opening diatribe regarding your door lock and herpes.
Ah, yes, herpes. It's not a nice
First thing,
yes.
Herpes are the worst courier company in the world, bar none. Quite often you can walk your parcel there quicker, and it certainly stands more chance of not being nicked or broken. They've destroyed more parcels than the Germans destroyed buildings in World War II.
Is that a fact?
Hopeless. It is a fact. Google it. Google herpes complaints.
Yes, okay.
And just see what comes up. They're awful.
All right, herpes complaints.
Hermes complaint. Not my herpes, my Hermes, yes.
Yeah. Their returns are all right, though, because I had a parcel the other day and I took it down to the little off-licence where they do it, and it's all free.
Yes, it is free. I have to return that I made the mistake of using Hermes. Well, Amazon decided they wanted to use Hermes. It took 2.5 weeks to get back to Amazon from drop-off.
Oh, did it? I got the money as soon as it was scanned in, and it said, right.
Sometimes they do, yeah, not always.
And then the next thing I get this ping, you've got the money returned, and I thought, well, that's all right.
Yeah, it depends on Amazon.
Because they don't know if I put anything in the box. They just scanned a label.
But if you look at the refund email they send you, in the little print at the bottom, which is smaller than a mouse's left testicle, it says, if there's anything wrong with this return, we have your credit card details and we will deduct it from your thing we did. So
just looking at a bit of legal paperwork here that's just giving me the size of a mouse left testicle, just so I can. That's 6 point, isn't it? 6 point. That's very small. 6 point. Helvetica 6 point. That's quite right. So it's always nice to get the measure. I mean, you threw it out there as if everyone was completely aware of a mouse's left testicle the size of, and I had to go and just double check. It's Helvetica.
Gauge it with a micrometer.
With a mouse chrometer, in fact.
A mouse chrometer, yeah.
Yes.
But the other thing I wanted to say was,
yes,
if you get no joy from your estate agents,
yeah.
I don't know if I've read this wrong, but you've not been terribly happy with them through the period of this. I would just say, okay, as a result of this, I'm taking my instruction elsewhere and instruct another agent.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. We could do that, although we are.
They would lose a lot more than the cost of a locksmith.
Well, yes,
than they would gain from selling your house.
Yes, but we are on the brink of seizing the money from these beggars. And I want to buy a van.
I know you do.
I need the money. So, and I've seen this van. It's a very nice chap. Paul, I believe Paul might even be out there today. He said he was going to watch the show. This is a chap called Paul who is up north. And he's up north, and he's got this amazing van. I can't show you the pictures that have got his business on, because that's we've agreed gentlemanly and shaken in. Well, we haven't shaken hands because of the COVID thing, but we've thrown viruses at one another and all of that, as you do. And but it's a lovely van. Oh, what a lovely van! Oh, what a lovely van. It drives along the road and it can knock over a toad. And when Revelia's gone, you're feeling as heavy as lead. Don't make me sing. So it's a lovely black van, like my black car. And so with the logo on it, it'll look lovely. The logo, of course, of Seamus's, what did we call it? Seamus's septic tank.
Yes.
It's Seamus's septic tank cleaner here. Cleaner than something very dirty. I'm not very good at an Irish accent, to be honest with you. And now I'm sure with the potato famine over, they'll be all over to beat me up.
A piece of advice, if you're going to get a black van, if I may.
Yeah, don't wash
having owned one. presumably, if it's not lined out, you'll probably line it out internally, possibly.
Yeah.
If you do, either spray foam it or use some sort of insulation, not to keep you warm in the winter, but these things get hot as a in the summer, being black. And if you insulate it, it keeps the heat out.
Oh, right.
And in the winter, it keeps you warm.
Yes. It
Nothing worse than trying to get some shut-eye and the sun's beating down on your van, turning it into an oven.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I generally go to sleep at night, though, when it's dark. Just so you know that. I'm one of those people that uses the light to move about in the day so I don't stumble over things. And then at night time, I shut my eyes and stumble over things.
Why didn't I think of that?
I know, a lot of people think I'm absolutely dozy, but, there is, every now and again, the mind cogitates for 4 seconds.
Okay. Well, maybe you might not be sleeping, but you might want to sit in there and work or something.
Yeah, now you're talking. Mind you, I can open the doors, presumably. I've got a sliding door on the side. I've got 2 back doors on the back. There's a hatch at the bottom. There's a great big hole in the roof. And where the paddles come in, there's some holes. And then there's the portholes, which you can open, of course. And then at the wings, at the end of the wing tips, there's some little holes that let in the air. And then there's that giant propeller at the front, which is like a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've described the van very accurately, but...
you bought an aeroplane, is what you're saying, really, isn't it?
Is that what I've done? Yeah, it's
I think so.
A microlight. Is
a microlight?
Yeah, I thought that would be easier because I wouldn't have to worry about the drone. I would just film myself scaring the hell out of people by almost clipping the ground as people are doing their shopping in a shopping... Well, they don't do that anymore. Nobody goes shopping, do they? They're just all online.
You're receiving their deliveries.
Yeah. And of course, I'll have a big bucket of bleach and I can just spray everyone and say, there you are, you won't have COVID now. You won't be able to see anything because you've all looked up and gone, what is that? Oh, God, it's bleach in my eyes.
It's interesting. I was listening to Radio 4 earlier on and they were talking about the supermarkets and, because of the COVID thing and home deliveries, they've made more money.
Have they?
Aldi's, interestingly, which is one of the 2 German supermarkets which have been on the rise over the last few years, have seen a downturn in its sales because they don't have an online offering.
Ah, there you are, you see. They thought they were coming up through the back lane and then suddenly found the door slammed in their face.
Yes.
So that'll teach them.
Isn't it?
It's interesting. I noticed that Morrison's, which is near me, they operate Amazon Prime food.
Yes, Amazon do their delivery. I think Ocado have now taken over Marks and Spencer's. They all subcontract because the cost of buying the fleet of vans and operating them must be huge.
But I don't understand why you would, if you were there and you knew that all you were going to get was Morrison's grub, why you wouldn't just order it from Morrison's? Why go through Amazon and pay the extra bit more?
You don't go through Amazon, you go through Morrison's, I think, to do it, and then Amazon deliver it. Isn't that right?
I've never tried it because, I'm a stone's throw. I don't need to do all that nonsense.
During the lockdown, they did those £25 boxes, which I tried, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised, I have to say. The contents were good. But that was delivered by Amazon.
Right. Is that because Morrison's basically don't have enough van power?
I think so, yeah.
So who then... Because Amazon haven't got... Well, they've got a few vans, but do they use Hermes to deliver?
I hope not, because the food will be rancid by the time you get it, or it won't turn up. Or...
It probably pushed through the wrong person's letterbox.
Or the wrong person, yeah, but they put it through the letterbox, so all your potatoes are coming in the house mashed.
It says, Patrick Murphy says, when shops do your shopping, they give you your stuff that are out of date within 2 days.
That can be true. Yeah, they can use it to, some of the short-dated stuff goes out. I've seen that happen. I've heard of that.
Yeah. Well, half the time the stuff on display is pretty close to its end. You go and have a look and you go, oh, I've only got a few days on this, and it's come out of a fridge where it's been in there for probably 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
So hey ho.
One last thing before I go, and I'm going to clear off now because I'm taking up all your show again.
That's all right.
Your video the other day with Julie when you went to Ken, was it? What's that place called?
Nep.
Nep, that's it. It was lovely to see Julia using the video and talking to the camera while you were playing with the baby. She's coming on, isn't she?
Yeah, I'm
doing her own videos soon and taking over your show.
Well, I hope so. I could have a bit of
off.
Yeah, I could have a kip. I mean, that's the thing. I'm now that you see, it's taken me a long time to be able to get the microphone with the GoPro. With the little gadget, there's GoPro had that little intermediate thing for audio.
That's it. It goes on the bottom, doesn't it?
Goes on the bottom. And for a long time, you couldn't get one for love nor money. There were a couple around for about £200. Somebody reselling them. You just couldn't get them. So I've had to use my microphone as a separate thing, which is complicated. But now I can just hand that thing to Julia, and she presses the button, and she can film. And she's feeling more and more confident, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, I'm trying to encourage her to do more and be more. When you're not joined at the hip, when you're independent. That was the word.
Yes.
When you're more independent, and just say, look, go and do a bit over there, or go and do there's the camera. I'll meet you around the corner. Because ideally, it would be nice to have two setups, and she goes and does one. I don't know. And we put them together and cut in between.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's
she won't spend half her life with her eyebrows raised up to her hairline almost, which she does tend to spend a lot of time when you're noticed.
What, when I'm being outrageous, you mean?
And rolling her eyes and raising her eyebrows, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I'll have to get some glue and glue them down.
Yes, absolutely. Or dyed in purple.
Yes.
Then you won't notice so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, better move on, because I have got some videos, but lovely to hear from you.
And lovely to talk to you. And we'll talk again soon.
And we will indeed, yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. And, well, I didn't see you, but you know what I mean. There we go.
You already.
Missing you, dear boy. By the way, I did laugh. Your video's coming up, and you have a mate, and you cycle up to him, and you say, "I'm making a YouTube video. You don't mind, do you?" And he says, "What? You're filming now?" "Yes, I'm filming now." You say, I felt poor bugger.
If you give people a choice, if they run to the hills, you just present them with a fait accompli, and he actually enjoyed it in the end. He was actually quite interested in what I was doing.
Yeah, excellent. I think that's the right way.
Relaxed into it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, take care, Mr. Glastonbury.
Good night, Mr. Worthing. Love you loads. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. That is Mr. Gabriel from Glastonbury, and what a jolly chappy he is, and thank you for ringing up. We will play another video in a second. I'm just going to quickly look at the comments. Judith says, I've had problems with herpes. Not herpes, he's got me at it now. Hermes. I think it depends on who your delivery driver is. Yeah, and whether they speak English or not. Ron Langley says, no problems at all with Hermes. Adam Wolf says, Wolk, I beg your pardon, Wolk. He says, hi, Richard. Does that mean that we will get a new channel called A Man with a Van Going Around with His Cam? Actually, that you could wrap that around the van. That would be quite good. Yeah, it will be a bit like that. I'm hoping to go further afield and get out. Of course, we may have a second wave. I don't think we will, but I don't think the government can afford to lock us down. So I think they'll do lots of funny little dances, but I don't think they'll lock us down, because I think then someone will lift the plug and they'll go down it. Patrick Murphy thinks I bought a water plane, which is probably true. If you don't like Hermes, you can use the Roman version, says Days of Yore. Mark Donny McLeod says, I go shopping. Don't trust shops to pick for me. No, absolutely. I mean, I do buy stuff off the online retailers, but if I can't get them locally, but it's like, if you're impatient, I'll whiz out to the shop if they're open. Although, of course, I'm doing as little of that as possible. All the time we've got this funny situation. Patrick Murphy says, when shops do your shopping? Oh, yes, we've read that bit. Political Boffin says, USA, Aldi Park, their stores are next to Walmart stores, are they? Connor says, you need to grab from the back of the shelves. I do try to. I always look at the dates. But I don't think they put them out, anything that's going to last you a long time. Patrick Murphy says, man, we could get Richard to do an organic delivery. Yeah, that's true, with my new van. Darren says, I use Tesco's and Asda 99% are well within the date. The only reason I use them is I'm disabled, and that's a perfectly good reason to do it. And if they're, doing it adequately, and if not better than adequate, then that's superb. Head office, says Mark Dunny McLeod, in Bradford, sent me a job op for a driver, forgetting to check my CV to see that I no longer have a licence. They are crying out for drivers for these vans. I bet, yeah, that's true. Mark Selwood said, I saw the dead cat on the top of your GoPro flop down momentarily during the video. That's Mr. Critic from Cornwall. Thanks. Yes, I noticed it too. But it wasn't supposed to do that. But there we are. It just proves that was a real video. Mike Dixon says, a Hermes delivery driver once told me that he gets 50p for each delivery, and if there's no reply, he has to try again, otherwise he doesn't get paid. So he don't care where he sends it then, presumably. Chris Frost says, yes, you can encourage Julia to do more purple. Yes, we'll do our best. And Rick M says, Zeus had problems with Hermes. Yes, I bet he did. And Robert Croser says, like listening to you two old ladies gossiping on the back of a bus. Thank you very much for that lovely, stunning compliment in glorious Technicolor. And Julia says, I love and miss hearing those snippets of conversation on the bus. Yes, I haven't been on a bus for donkey's years. But then I haven't been on a donkey for a bus years either. Let's go into the video mode. And it's Mike Dixon.
Hello, Vobesters. It's Mike Dixon and Bella, and with Helen, and we're down at Wootton Bridge in the Isle of Wight, and we're staying here for 2 weeks. It's a lovely, lovely sunny day, baking hot. Bella's found some shade from under the bench, but this is a very lovely setting down here. We've got a property right next to the water that overlooks the creek. So we woke up this morning with all the Canadian geese and loads of other birds kind of chirping away. It's a lovely, lovely setting up here. We're just going to go off and get some supplies. There's a pub literally at the end of the creek, shooting into the sun. That is where we're, and we've got booked a table on Friday evening, because in about a week's time our daughter's coming over for 4 days to stay with us at the house before then she heads off back to university. But it's a lovely setting. In the distance there is the Solent, and in the far distance you've got the Napoleonic kind of period fortification above Portsmouth. I think now it's kind of communication centre for the Royal Navy, and from there they can communicate with all their submarines and warships across the world. Yeah, I thought I'd just share it with you. Lovely setting, beautiful sunny day. So Bella's enjoying being on her holiday. She's very chilled out, relaxed. Yeah. Anyway, I shall pass you back to Richard. Take care. Bye.
There we go. Lovely Mike Dixon over in the Isle of Wight for 2 weeks. It's not the same as Mallorca, but very close. Thank you very much, Mike, for sending that in. Very kind of you. And of course, you had a lovely sunny day, I noticed there. We had a sunny morning and then it got a bit cloudy, but I was inside mostly, so unfortunately today we're unable to get out and do a walk. Now we've had some interesting things. Archie Jenner says, I love your videos. It's even better that I've seen you in real life. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. And Chris Frost says, yeah, all of you out there should be using local farmers markets for the best fresh food, better than anything the supermarkets want you to buy. And I totally agree. I do and trying to find the best option for me, farmers markets with organic food that's got the minerals and the nutrients in it that hasn't had pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and suicides shoved all over it, which is good. Somebody rang just as the video started, and before I could answer it, they hung up. So please do ring again. Be lovely to hear from you if you have a comment or anything to make. And just a reminder of the number, it is, if I can find it here, 07934746790. Always lovely to talk to you. Mark Donny McLeod says Isle of Wight is okay, but Cows Week is when Tim Nice but Dim and other toffs fill the streets. It's very true. I'm not into sailing as such, so I don't know too much about that. Hello to the caller calling in on the Vobes show.
Hello to the Vobes, it's Ed Loud.
Hello, Ed Loud. How the devil are you? Was it you that rang a few seconds ago?
Oh, no, it wasn't me that called. I do apologise if I'm interrupting somebody.
No, not at all. It's probably the tax man after me or something. Or
I'm afraid I lost the stream just at the start of the video, so I'll give the video enough time to play and then I'll call in.
Oh, well, it's lovely to hear from you, Ed. Haven't heard from you for a couple of days, so how's things going?
Well, I'm missing the live shows quite a lot. I sometimes get to catch them if I'm watching on somebody else's data plan or something, but a lot of the time I'm missing them, which is a shame.
And why are you missing them?
I've got no internet. I was cutting back on my internet temporarily just to save some money. But
yes.
This sounds like something out of Frank Spencer. It was I don't know. My internet supplier sent me a letter reminding me I had to review my options. I phoned them up and they said, "Oh, we haven't got an account in that name." And I thought, "Oh, hello, I've been paying this bill for about 5 years. What's going on?"
Yeah.
They had the account in my grandfather's name, which I was aware of. However, when he passed away, I did phone them up and request that I took over the contract, which they were quite happy to do. And I carried on using the service, as you would. Because obviously when one person dies, it doesn't mean that someone else in the household doesn't want the service. You know, they don't want their phone line cut off and everything. So they said there's been an error. I went through the bereavement, what do they call it, their bereavement line again and informed them all over again and went through all that. My brother come home from work that night. I was away in Essex and everything had been cut off. Couldn't even make an emergency call. Just completely gone.
Can I ask, is it one of the main providers?
Yes, one that I think you've had some problems with as well. However, if I was with another company, I would have had the same problem because they have to rent the network off that company. So, yes. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm now going to be without any internet for probably about another week and a half. So, it's been a comedy of errors since dear old Grandad left. It would make a good comedy, you know, if they could get someone handsome enough to play my good self. Then
I believe Ed Loud is available.
Oh, God, not him. Goodness gracious. But yes, you have to laugh. It would. I think it's rather akin to the sort of thing you'd get in One Foot in the Grave. Just one mistake after another.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said when the roof started caving in. I literally said, "I don't believe it." And then my brother says, "Oh, you sound like Victor Meldrew." So it's, never mind. But hopefully other people can have a good laugh at that because no harm's come. Nobody's been hurt.
Well, I don't know that they'll laugh. You know. I think they'll sympathise. I think everybody on this planet who has any internet will have an internet story to relate. I don't think that it's a service like... what is the most reliable service? Usually electricity seems to be pretty reliable, doesn't it, these days?
I would say my water supply has been very good.
Yes, and water. They haven't poisoned anyone yet.
Water, but it kills my bread, so I have to use bottled water, but that's neither here nor there. Yes,
it kills your bread?
Yeah, if I put... I get away with it once or twice, but if I keep continually putting tap water into my sourdough starter, it kills off a lot of the yeast and the bacteria.
Is that what is that? Sorry, I'm just wiggling my eye around for those that are watching live. What's causing that? Is that lime?
I would guess it's the chlorine because it's in there to kill microbes, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah.
Does that have much effect on us humans?
No, I don't think we're very microbial, are we? We're sort
but
of,
in our guts, we have very important microbes, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't like to say one way or the other, but it wouldn't surprise me. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a negative effect to it, but maybe there's positives as well. I'm definitely not a scientist, but all I know is I don't get a very good sourdough if I use tap water. I do get better results in certain parts of the country, but I think that's relating to if it's hard water or soft water. So,
Yeah.
Never mind.
So you use bottled water
Yes.
to do that?
I always use Evian. There's a reason I go with that brand, just for the pH level.
And the
I'm
minerals,
happy to
presumably, are useful?
Not particularly. I just go with it for the pH level. But, I mean, I'll use any bottled water, any kind of water that hasn't got the chlorine. I've tried leaving my water out overnight and things like that, but for some reason it still has the same effect. So I think there is, even if you get rid of the smell, there must be something in the water. But it's no big deal. But yes, I do watch the shows later on, I will add. I do watch them when my brother comes home from work. I get to use his internet for a little while. So I'm always watching the show, but I won't always be able to comment, you know.
Right. Oh, okay. That's very kind. Mike Stevens says that chloride is known as halide, if I've got that pronunciation correct, and it says it can have a damaging effect if taken internally. I guess by the quantity. It's like, you know, they used to give arsenic to help people get better, but obviously well, it's true, they did.
Yeah,
but only in minuscule quantities. If you, like so many things, if you have too much water on its own, that's not good for you. But it is a large quantity.
I do think the thing with my internet has raised an interesting point that maybe your show would be a good forum to briefly put out there. We all rely so heavily on our internet connection now, and yet we really have no power. They can just cut us off in moments. Whereas with our electric and our gas and things like that, they do have to go through some procedure before they can cut us off.
Yes, that's very true. What is it? It's. I think the internet is now known as an essential service, isn't it?
Yeah, sadly, there's absolutely no protection for, you know, internet users beyond normal sort of service agreements and contracts. There's no specific internet protection, really. So you could be someone who's like heavily disabled, like my mother.
Yes.
And you've got no protection for that service. They can just cut it off and.
Do you think do you think this goes back to the times when electricity and gas were nationalised and actually run by the government, and as a consequence, the internet has never been run by the government, although the Labour Party were going to offer that, which would have been a curious.
I don't think a very minimal internet service would be a bad idea now, because with the death of my grandfather and all the paperwork and stuff that comes with that, I've been applying for this and applying for that.
You have to do everything. Everything you have to do online.
Yeah. Most of the government agencies, like my council tax, they will not accept any other form other than online or through a social worker if I've got some sort of welfare problem.
No, it's an interesting
point. So an
point.
able-bodied person I can't apply for any council tax relief at all at the moment because I haven't, you know, got my internet connection. And another thing, like with the job centre, they demand now that unless you've got some sort of disability, you use the internet. You either have to go to a library, which is all closed, or use their internet if you haven't got your own. So I think some form of internet basic protection, that you get a very basic service, if nothing else, even if it was just dial-up, you know, really basic.
Yes.
That would be very good, in the same way that people's water, gas and electric are protected to some level. You know, they can't just switch you off straight away.
They could throttle you back to you know, almost 56k or something, so you can fill in forms. I think that's a very interesting point, and people should. What is it that you go to your MP? You should. What's the word that you do that when you tell?
Yes, I'm actually on that as we speak. I'm composing something. So
what is it? But what's the word when you badger your MP? You not petition them. You somebody will tell me. What is it you do when you go to your MP and you say you lobby? Is it lobby?
Yes, lobby. That's the word.
Lobby your MP. And tell them, you know, this is what we want. We want just a basic. Everybody should be entitled to a free basic thing. Lobby.
As long as you lobby them, not lob, because they're not crags, you know.
No. You can't lob them, lob the crags about. Absolutely.
All right, I better let you get on with the show, but I just wanted to, I don't know, just sort of voice that and see if I got any responses in the chat.
Yeah, no, I think there will be interesting response on that.
I'll be looking back.
Good man.
Right.
Nice to talk
Good
to you,
night,
Ed.
everyone.
Take
you
care.
too. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. There we are. That's Ed Loud, who's on and off the internet as and when he is allowed. Interesting point, actually. I think that's true. There should be a very basic minimum amount, because we're all told that we have to do so much online. We don't necessarily need to download videos and stuff, but we do need some sort of simple access. Anyway, there we have another call. Hello to you, caller.
Hello, are you all right?
Yeah, who's that?
It's Philip here from Basildon.
Philip from Basildon. How are you, Philip from Basildon? Nice to talk to you.
I was with my wife, I was looking at the television, and because we get the internet through the telly, and I said, that's James Whale. That's James Whale on the telly.
Very young James Whale.
Well, that's what I said to her. It's like going back 20 years. I mean, the set looks like James Whale. You look like James Whale. She's got to take the shine to you.
I remember James Whale when he was on talk radio in the old days. You know, the very first...
She said she's taken the shine to you and your bald head.
Oh, isn't that nice? What's her name?
It's Philip.
Well, what's your mum's name, though?
It's my wife.
Your wife, I beg your pardon, sorry.
Well, we're not... Well, I know we've got a bit of reputation in Basildon, but let's not...
What's your wife called?
She's Erica.
Erica. Hello, Erica. James Whale.
Oh, she's waving. She's blind.
Oh, right, there we are.
She can't see the television. I said his head's shining.
Yes.
And so she doesn't, but she can't see it. She's just imagining what it's like.
No.
She liked James Whale.
Yeah, James Whale. James Whale was great. I like James Whale.
Oh, he's brilliant. She's been in tears all week because he's got. I don't know if you read the news, but he's got cancer.
Has he?
Yeah. Oh, did you not know?
No, I haven't listened to him for a long time. I know that he's still with Ash, isn't he? Ash still does the shows with him.
Well, I don't know about that. He's going to be Ash if he carries on as he is. He's got liver. No, hold on, mate. Hold on. That wasn't meant to be a joke. He's got liver.
No, but you said he will be Ash soon.
No, I said past. He'd be past soon.
Oh, I beg your past. Yes, all right, fair enough.
I don't know about Ash. What, you mean cremation?
No, Ash, if you remember Ash has been his sidekick. He used to be his engineer, Ash. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about cremation.
No. Ash was his sidekick, and he's on talk radio now.
What, he's got a psychic working with him?
Yes, he's definitely got a psychic.
Why didn't he tell him what was wrong with him then a couple of months ago?
Well, he should have done, but I think he's kept it quiet for reasons that he didn't want to upset him, poor bloke.
I mean, he's got liver,
yeah,
brain,
bacon and
kidneys.
Eggs. Liver, bacon and eggs?
No, these are bits that have been affected by him.
By him?
The Lord, I suppose, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, Jesus. Well, Jesus has a lot to do with a lot of things, doesn't he?
He certainly hasn't anything to do with this show. Nice talking to you, mate. See you soon. I thought I was looking at James Whale. I wish you health and happiness.
You're a star. Thanks for calling in, Philip. Oh, and I've accidentally ditched a call. There we are. James Whale, indeed. Never heard such rubbish. Far less important than him. Let's have a look at some of the comments. A difference between filtered and regular tap water is amazing, says Mike Stevens, who does sound like he knows a thing or two about it. I ever only use bottled water when I have no access to drinking the tap water. I wonder if it's changed over the 20 years. I once used to do stuff with Thames Water, and did go to one of their... I did entertaining stuff with them. I wasn't a scientist at Thames Water, and we used to go around... well, to be honest with you, we used to go around the sewage farm in a comedy car. No, this is true. You might think I'm just making this up, but it's absolutely true. In a comedy car with a seat that was like a loo, and we painted it yellow. This is Nigel, who played Snug and Cozy with me, or played Cozy in Snug and Cozy all those years ago. And we had this toilet on the back, and we were the lemon men, lemon-scented toilets, don't you know? And the people, what do you call them, the pensioners who were the shareholders in Thames Water, they'd have an open day and take them around the sewage farm. Most peculiar, really, but it was great for us because we would give them rides on the back of our car. Absolutely hilarious. Anyway, but they told us, I seem to remember they told us that the water was absolutely, very clear, but that was a long time ago. James Whale, who directed Frankenstein. Not sure it's that James Whale. James Whale, who advertised Pimlico Plumbers. It could well be. I miss Scotty McClue, says Mark Donny McLeod. Yes, I imagine you do. Rick M says, we listened to James Whale and Ash on Talk 8 Radio years ago. Yes, he used to be a lot more like a shock jock, wasn't he? I was reading his biog online the other day, and he started off quite smooth and very, average and what have you. He got into it sort of a bit by accident. And then he realised that actually, like so many people do, that in order to get better attention, you have to take a bit more of not an aggressive line, but a sort of a shocking line. And he sort of became one of the late night shock jocks of the 80s. And it was very, very good. James Whale had kidney cancer about 20 years ago, says Judith. Mike Dixon says Thames Water came second in the mineral competition. They filled a posh-looking bottle with tap water and just added some bubbles. So there we are. How about that? Let's go and have a look at another video. Let's get rid of the phone call. And not the phone call, the phone number, obviously. That was just a quick shot of Bella, Mike Dixon and Bella on holiday in lovely weather. I think it's time we saw a little episode from Jeff Kellison. Jeff Kellison over there in the lovely US of A. But where is he today?
Hello everybody, this is Jeff. I thought maybe I would take the time today to introduce you to a little known and long forgotten cemetery in Hilliard, Ohio. The family that started the cemetery's name was Hart, H-A-R-T, and the patriarch of the family was Moses Hart, who was a veteran of the War of 1812. It's believed that there are 22 people buried in this tiny little cemetery, which now is stuck in the middle of a drop yard for a manufacturing plant that makes ceiling tile. The real story of this long forgotten cemetery is the story of Lyman Sands, who historians now believe his name was Simon Sands, but he didn't want anyone to know that he was Jewish. He served his country during the American Civil War and died in 1870 and was denied burial in the Veterans Cemetery because he was suspected of being Jewish. So, Moses Hart, the patriarch of the Hart family, took pity on Simon Sands and allowed him to be buried in their family cemetery. Now, the Moses Hart house and grounds mansion is long since gone, replaced by truck repair places and the dump lot where they dump the trailers for the Armstrong ceiling tile plant. And the cemetery largely is long forgotten. But here lies Simon Sands. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's just a quick little one that I'm doing. This is a place that I come and pick up ceiling tile. And I think it is such an amazingly sad story that the poor man was denied a place to be buried because he was Jewish. I guess that's all for me today. I hope everyone is well. Talk to you later. Bye.
There we go. Lovely Jeff Kellison there. And what a sad, sad story. Thanks for bringing that to us, Jeff. It's interesting, isn't it? How you can have, I mean, the juxtaposition of that graveyard next to a sort of place that, unless you're a lorry driver, you would never really go and visit, and probably looks just very utilitarian and grim. And then there on that spot, this tiny little patch of hallowed ground that means so much to a family that have now long since departed. At least it's still there and it's not been bulldozed over and something else put on top of it. So that's really good. So there we go. Andrew Norris says, poor chap, I feel sorry for him. Mark Selwood says, how unusual. And Mike Stevens says, wow, how anti-Semitic. Yeah. Patrick Murphy says, I remember James well when he had a late night TV show back in the 90s. Yes, that's true. He did. I remember that too. R.I.P. Simon Sands, says Audrey Forbes. Yeah, it's a very sad story that happened a long time ago. So there we are. If you're out and about and you see something and you think, hey, that would be quite fun to play on the show, do go and record it and do send us in a video. That would be fantastic. Hello to the caller just calling in.
Hello, Mr. Vobes. This is Jeff.
Hello, Jeff. We've just been watching your magnificent video. Thank you so much.
You were saying that it must be interesting being a lorry driver and getting to see all this stuff. I'm reminded of my father, who was in the Merchant Marines during World War II, and people would ask him, well, what was it like going here or going there? And he always used to say, the only thing I saw was the port. And, you know.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of, you don't really ever see the good parts of areas, but I guess it does have its good points at times.
Yeah, so is that the same with you then? When you leave the depot and you've got a load of farm chemicals or whatever it might be that you're carrying, and that you just see the open road and whatever is on the big, what do you call them in America? The what do you call your big motorways? The
well, it's a freeway.
Freeway, yeah, freeway. The freeway. That was the word. Yeah, and so when you get the other, yeah, there you go. And then you just sort of arrive at the other end, and there's another depot.
That's it. It's there's times when it's not really exciting, but sometimes it's okay. That cemetery though is amazingly sad because I encourage everybody. I put the 3-word location in the video. I encourage everyone to go and look where the cemetery is. It's on the end of a gravel road in the middle of nowhere. It's very sad. It really is.
And sad that the original house is no longer there, because that would have connected the two together.
Oh, this is America. Anything over 40 years old, it gets bulldozed and we put up a Walmart,
Yeah. Yeah, we put up a parking lot, as the song says. That is a shame. So you don't get to see many interesting things. You don't see many castles over in America or burial mounds. You must. What about the? Yeah, no, go on.
The only castle I remember ever seeing growing up is the one at Disneyland. And don't kill my illusion. I want to believe it's real.
It is real. It's absolutely real. You see it in the cartoons. It must be real. Do you ever go past any of the Native American, what do you call it, prairies? What do you call their? I had the word a second ago, not plantation. There's what do you call it? The reservations. Reservations. Yeah,
yes.
Rhymes with plantations,
Yes.
has different connotation altogether. Well, connotation
Yes.
is another word. Did you ever go past any of those?
Yes, you always know them because of their collections of junk cars.
Oh, really? What, abandoned?
Well, you know, you buy them, you run them till they quit running, and you drag them home and stack them up.
I remember when I did my 2006 trip to America, and we went from Chicago on a road trip to San Antonio, Texas, and we went down through the great sort of farming belt through St. Louis. We went down there, whichever county that is in, not county, state. And then we went through, I always say the name of this place wrong, where the piney woods are. Anyway, it doesn't really matter where we went, but we went through and we saw these massive fields and fields and fields and fields, flat 180 skies. And every now and again, you would see these abandoned tractors or trailers, massive, great things, just rusting. Nobody seemed to take them away. Nobody did anything with them. They were just there. Is that still a thing?
Yes, it is. You know, we're Americans. We buy things, we use them for 20 years, we get tired of them, and we buy a new one. I don't understand it either, but I drove the same car from the time I was in high school until about 10 years ago. So,
wow. So so where do you get that from then? Because if most Americans just ditch things as soon as the next shiny thing comes out, where do you get your sensibility from?
I don't know if you call it a sensibility. I just don't, because something's old, I just don't see the object in getting rid of it and getting something new and shiny. You know, I own a Rolex, and I like my Rolex, but I don't see the object in buying the fanciest car on the planet. I mean, it's just something to get you from point A to point B. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean...
That's just me, but...
No, but I think you're right. A lot of people seem to think that it is a sign of status, don't they? And status is a weird thing because it's mostly is imaginary.
Yeah, I think so too.
When you're keeping up with the Joneses and you want to show them, you're signaling. You're doing this signaling business about, well, look, we're okay because we've got this amazing car. And the truth may be that they've put themselves near bankruptcy in order to have this car to prove to the people opposite that they're okay, when actually it would be better to say, do you know what, we don't have a lot of money, because then they may get people who would help them, not out of just feeling sorry for them, but genuine empathy.
I think with me, part of it also is I never had very good success having other people work on my stuff.
Right.
It seemed like every time in my life I ever had my car worked on, one time they forgot to put the nuts back on the studs for the carburetor, and one other time it just seemed like there was just always, so I always did my own work. That's probably part of it also.
Well, that's probably a good idea. I mean, from my perspective, even though I've been to America, when I think of garages in America, there are always these places on one of these long freeways in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and you know, one guy in the dungarees sort of coming out chewing on some chewing tobacco or something, and you just feel like, yeah, I'm going to get ripped over here, whatever happens. And I don't know whether that's true. That's probably just how it comes over in the movies, but that's pretty much what I've got to base my reality of some of American life on.
Yeah, I think you have a good grasp of what actually happened.
No, surely they're not all out for whatever they can get. Well, if you don't know, who does?
I'm glad that everyone enjoyed my video, though. I enjoyed making it, and I thought that it was kind of an interesting story. It's difficult to imagine the prejudice that people felt in the past toward Jews. America was very bad about that, though. Look at St. Louis, the ship that Roosevelt sent back during World War II, and the people ended up being killed. The name of the ship was the St. Louis. It's go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that it does seem that at the moment there is a lot going on in America in which there is a lot of prejudice one way or another, and a lot of misperceived prejudice, it seems, by some members of society that seem to want to stir up trouble for the sake of it. And we've got some of that over here. I'm treading carefully how I phrase it, because I don't want my house burnt down. But yeah, there just seems to be a lot of that. I don't understand why people just can't get on.
I don't understand it either, but I feel much better now that that man's story was told.
Yeah, and shared it with us, and that's really it's really been an interesting eye opener to us, and it's just so sad that there it is next to. Well, I can't remember what you said. The company did something bizarre. What?
Acoustical ceiling tiles.
Yeah, there you go. Acoustical ceiling tiles. I mean, how peculiar is? I mean, I guess that you need them in some buildings, and somebody's got to make them, and they've got to have a delivery depot somewhere. But it's just seems a shame that it's not in a nice little village with people who can appreciate it more.
Yes, it is. Well, I hope everyone is well. And I will talk to everybody later.
Top man, we look forward to it, Jeff. You look after yourself.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. That's the wonderful Jeff Kellison and his video. And Jeff, we want more. If you see something else, do send us more. It may not be interesting to you, but it's fascinating to other people, particularly over here. I think it's always interesting, other people's ways of life. We're all nosy at the end of the day. We like to see how other people live, whether we're jealous of it or just interested. It's all good stuff. Lots of comments coming in here. Connor's Dark Corner says, I know of an old cemetery, but need to leave early to get there because it's a long walk. St. Louis, Missouri, lots of prairie in Illinois. Yes, that's true. And Mark Selwer says the Red Ruth Quaker Meeting House has been a private home for many years. Absolutely beautiful inside. Glastonbury Gabriel says, I can hear the banjos from here. Yes, true. Talking of Glastonbury Gabriel, I believe it's time for a video from Glastonbury Gabriel. He's on a bike ride with his friend. Now, watch out for that moment where he says, I'm already shooting a YouTube video, you're in it. Or words to that effect. He puts it better than I do.
So today I'm riding to meet my friend Josh. We're going for a ride out to Boltonsborough, the pretty way. Why don't you join us? Hopefully Josh is still there because I'm running a bit late. Let's go and have a look. Should be around here somewhere. Just around this corner. That looks like him over there. Hello! How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
How's it going?
I'm shooting a YouTube video, you don't mind, do you?
Right now.
Right now. So here we go. What the camera can't pick up is that lovely aroma of cows. Mmm, yum yum. Yeah, last time I came here this was nearly impassable down here. Over the bridge. And we're going out that way. We're going to be going down 3 Mile Drove in a minute. So cool because it's 3 miles long and straight as an arrow. Here we go. 3 Mile Drove. You can just see it in the distance, or maybe not, because it's a very wide angle lens, but that is 3 miles away, that hill. Here we are, we're further down the road and the hill gets ever closer. Look. The levels would have been boggy, marshy, uninhabitable except on lake villages like Glastonbury, which was on stilts, until the Middle Ages, when the monks of Glastonbury Abbey started to drain them. And the irrigation system now on the levels is a really complex computer controlled operation. But at local level, we have points like this going under the bridge, where the depth is monitored, and as you can see there, the numbers correspond to metres. This one's way down at the moment, almost looking dry. If you look the other way, going towards the Tor, you see it wandering off. Some of these are wide enough to take ocean-going ships. Some of them are little brooks like this one. We'll see more on our way round. So we've left the levels now, and we're cycling through the village of West Pennard, back out to the countryside, but it's a bit less flat where we're going. It's more interesting. So let's go this way. We were cycling down the road, as you do, and we found this, which looks to be all the world like a medieval tithe barn. So we'll just go and have a quick look. It's National Trust, apparently. The idea of these tithe barns were local farmers will bring 1/10 of their crops, hence the word tithe, and it would be stored here for the use of the village and the community in times of in times of hardship, plague, drought, whatever. This is a lovely find. I didn't even know this was here. Look at that. So here we are, arriving in Boltonsborough. In front of us you can see an orchard. There's a lot of them around here, given mostly to the fact that people like their cider. Interesting fact number 1. To be considered an orchard, you have to have at least 5 apple trees. If you have less than 5, it's not an orchard. So here we are, we're approaching the centre of Boltonsborough now, the crossroads. There's a road ahead closed, we're not going there. To my left is the Greyhound pub. And over here is the War Memorial. So we're going to turn right now. This is going to start heading back towards Glastonbury. On our left used to be a shop, sadly no longer. As you can see, this village has been blighted by new builds in the recent years, none of which are going to blend in nicely as they age, sadly. But for some reason, that doesn't seem to matter. That doesn't seem to matter. They just build these houses and they don't care what they look like. Here's another example of the drainage system I was talking about earlier. This time slightly larger. I'm on the bridge and we're over the drainage system. And it's heading off towards the Tor over there. As you can see, I don't know if you can pick it up on this camera, but there's quite a flow. As you can see, it's busy draining the levels. These eventually go out to the sea, out by a basin bridge and out that way. That'll be the feature of another video that I'm going to do. East Huntsville and out that way, where the really big ones are. But for now, that's just another look at the drainage systems of the levels. Slight change of plan, we're now in Butley. Entering Butley. Because we saw a large house in the distance and we wanted to go and see where it is. Found a castle, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. We're coming up on the River Brew now. You can see my other video regarding the River Brew and the Glastonbury mill stream.
And there he is, the Glastonbury Gabriel disappearing into, well, we don't know where. Is he a real man? Is he a mysterious myth? Is he alive? Yes, of course he is. I've met him. And he's taught me how to fly a drone. And there he is on his bicyclette, doing some good work keeping fit. Marvellous. I want to know, though. Here's a question for you, Glastonbury Gabriel, just off the cuff. What were the vocals singing about? I was trying to work out what the song was about in the background. A lot of loud singing, but I had no idea, really. Anyway, very nice. Fantastic. Love the castle that you found. And the barn. Oh, the barn. Oh, yeah. That was just Barney, wasn't it? Glastonbury Gabriel says something to Jeff, actually. And Jeff Keller says, you like it a lot better, trust me, if you ditch the seat. What were you going to sit on if you don't have the seat on the bike? That's curious. So there we go. Lots of nice praise for Glastonbury Gabriel. We look forward to that. Glastonbury Gabriel says, dunno, it's just production music. Fair enough. Production. I thought it would, if it was sort of singing about the Glastonbury Hills, that would be good. Anyway, what do I know? Great video, nonetheless, and second by Chris Frost. So that's all great. And I love the drainage ditches. I love the different sizes of them and all that open space to be able to get on the bike and cycle. I'm looking forward to getting over there. Especially if I have a van, I can bring a bike and shove it in the van, can't I? Or have one of those funny suction pad things where they stick the bikes on the back. But probably just stick one in the van. That'd probably be the easiest thing. Mark Donny McLeod said it sounded like Madge. I don't know who Madge is. Is Madge... wasn't Madge in Neighbours? Wasn't that she in Neighbours? Neighbours. Everybody's got nosy neighbours. So nosy we made a television programme out of it. Yeah, that's what you do, really. Mike Selwood says, less of the ego massage, please. Thank you. I don't think Mark Selwood said that. I think somebody else said that. I just read his name and read whatever was on the screen. Here is a call of the phone. Let's find out who it is. Hello to you calling in on the phone.
G'day, I'm calling from Neighbours.
Oh, good day there, Sean. It's nice to see you down under. How's it going? By the way, how's Kylie these days?
Well, we don't talk about her. She's puts herself around the town.
Has she abo and flown Qantas to Australia?
She's everybody's neighbour.
Is she? Actually, I do get Kylie knocking on the wall going, "Hey, Mr. Vobes, turn it down, mate, turn it down." So we have a lot of that. How are you, Sean?
Well, I'll tell you a quick story then.
Once upon a time in the land of Dingley Dell. Yes, tell us
I used to take pictures of celebrities.
What would you do with them?
I was on stage with Kylie Minogue, and I said to her, let me come on stage because I can get some good pictures of the audience and everything. So she said, yes, great. So I sold the pictures, and obviously you've got no idea where these pictures are going to go. So 6 months later, I saw her again, and the same thing, and she said, just before we go on stage, let's have something, like a bit of vodka. Well,
like a bit of what?
Vodka and Coke.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't aware that she had seen, apparently, the pictures that I had taken had been sold to a newspaper who hadn't done a very good article about her, and she thought I was to blame.
Ah.
So my vodka and Coke was more vodka than Coke, and when the pictures came out, she didn't have a head. So I learned my lesson. Don't drink before you go on a job.
No. Yeah. Well, that's a. How long ago was that?
Oh, that would have been in Cardiff about 2001.
Ah, right. Fair enough. 2001. Yeah. Blimey.
Back in the day. Back in those days when you could leave your house and go and have a coffee with a friend.
Yeah, and didn't have to wear a mask.
No, you could cough in each other's face for hours.
Yes, I remember those days when you did have to wear a mask and you held up a gun like this and you would say, stand and deliver.
Your money or your wife?
The money or my wife. And so they gave me plenty of money. Anyway, you didn't ring up to tell me the story about Kylie Minogue, or did you?
I just phoned to sing the Neighbours thing.
To sing the Neighbours thing. Yeah, they were the good old days, weren't they, when the original Neighbours... Do you remember when it first came out and Max was on it?
Oh, yes. Well,
Mac, because it was named after his grandfather. It was his road, Ramsay Street. That was his road. Because I remember that being the storyline. Then
Daphne turned up on the first episode. I think it was the first one. Daphne turned up to Max's Bucks party, and she was a stripper, and in the end, he married her.
Ah, there we are. I don't think I ever saw the first one, but it was very early days when I started to watch them, when I lived in Harrow on the Hill.
Oh, very posh.
Well, I didn't live on the hill bit. I was in Harrow, actually, at the bottom of the hill, to be fair, in a terraced house. Butler Road, it was. Look it up.
Well, I've been quite ill the last few days.
Oh, no. Hang on a minute. Hang on. I just disinfect the earphones. There we go.
And today has been the worst of it.
Oh, what have you got? Have you got the terrible... I don't know what, toxic...
No, I have an underlying health issue called ME.
Oh, yes.
Don't get me to pronounce what the medical term is, because I can't.
No, just all about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it.
I pushed myself a bit too much last week, and so I've basically been in bed all day today.
Right.
But YouTube has done nothing but recommend your videos all day. So I've been watching about 50 of them.
Blimey, you must be
and I thought, I
fed
can't
up.
take this anymore. I'm getting out of bed and I'm walking.
Yeah, suddenly your health got so much better. It is the cure. I think I've made so many videos now. It is the cure to get you off the YouTube. They just go, I can't cope anymore. That Vobes is every bloody way.
I've seen the video about when you got the SE. I've seen the video of you making a Sunday lunch 6 months after the SE.
Yeah.
I've seen you do a review of a year with the SE.
Yes.
So now all I've got is recommendations of essays.
Oh yeah, that is the trouble, isn't it? I was thinking this winter to do cooking on the Essie because the numbers of the Essie videos is quite high. So I thought I might do a few of those, but not. The thing with me is I don't really have a set niche that is always rigid. I do like variety, and whilst sometimes some of the heritage landscape and nature can be really nice, like the one I did on the Daddy Longlegs with Dumpman recently. And if you've not seen it, go and see it. And
I've seen it. It's great.
You spend time actually filming it properly, and I love doing that. But I can't keep that up every day, and some places it's just not appropriate to do that. Take tripod and camera and what have you. So other times it is GoPro just loose and like fun at Nep, and you just don't know what's going to happen, and you go and you cobble something together. But I like that variety because it doesn't make me too much stuck in the mud.
Well, I was thinking it'd be interesting to find out what people's first video was that they discovered you, because my first video was you got up very early at the start of the lockdown, and you were walking through the streets. And there wasn't a soul there.
Yeah,
and that was the first video that I saw of you.
Gosh, so yeah, that's not that long ago, really.
Back in March, I think it was.
Yeah, back in March. That's right. I remember. Oh. I mean, I was so desperate at a point. One video, I walked round out of my front door, down the lane at the back of my house, quick look down at little underpass tunnel, and then whipped back again. I mean, it was so desperate times.
Well, it was funny because so many people believed.
I don't know how
they were going to monitor this, but everybody believed you could only spend an hour outside.
Yes.
So there's a vlogger that I watch in London, and it was quite funny because he all of a sudden went, "It's 55 minutes, and I've got to go home." That's the end of the video.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a bit of an urban myth, this hour thing. And I've even heard the politicians, not the key ones, but other, MPs, just saying, oh, well, once you've done your hour. But you can't find it anywhere written that you only had an hour. I think it was, you think of doing a bit of exercise for an hour, go down to the gym for an hour or go for a run for an hour. It's quite long, I suppose. Or for a walk. I guess an hour is an easy dollop of time, but some exercises, of course, may be shorter and others far longer.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what will happen after the announcement today that only 6 people from next Monday can get together. And there's a rumour in the media world that there could be a 10 p.m. curfew coming up.
A 10 p.m. curfew?
That all public spaces, shops, anything where people go will have to shut down we'll have to shut down at 10 o'clock.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't affect me because I'm usually in bed at 10 o'clock.
I am.
Yeah, so that would be quite nice if, especially if the pub down the road is nice and quiet when I go to bed. Yeah, I don't think they're going to lock down again. I think they'd be very reticent about locking down. I don't think they can afford to tell us to lock down. I think they'll do all these other things that you're saying, like yeah, they'll try a curfew. I think they'll do everything they can, not on purpose to make our lives misery, but it would be a misery. Anything to stop us actually having to lock down, because I just don't think. I think the government would just disappear down a plug hole if that happened.
But just think of all those people that have to go and visit their family at Christmas and they don't really want to go. Well, this year they'll have the best Christmas.
Yeah,
they'll be able to say, "Oh, well, we can't come out. We've got to stay in."
That's very true. Yeah, we can't go out. We're not, and all those presents they don't have to buy.
Well, I'd be hoping that you'll be doing a Christmas Day show, like just after the Queen's speech or something.
What day does Christmas lie on?
Oh, I don't actually know it this year.
Let's just have a look, because obviously if it's not a Wednesday, Wednesday, what's the name on a Friday? I can't possibly. I mean, I may be doing my reading or something. After what time does the Queen go on? She only got 3.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. Well, there'll be a Vobes show, of course. I don't stop just because it's Christmas. There'll be the Christmas Vobes show. I'll make sure the lovely Julia can come in. And we will be dressed up as Santa Claus with fake beards.
But how about for all us sad people that haven't got 6 friends, also the following Thursday for a New Year's Eve special, and we all see the New Year in.
Wait, isn't the New Year the same? Oh, New Year's Day is Friday. Oh yeah. What? See the New Year in on the Vobes show.
We could have like a 2-hour show from 11 until 1. Well, no, it would have to go on for quite a while because you'd have to wait for Jeff to come into the New Year as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the only thing about those sort of things is I think the internet starts to sort of get a bit clogged because everybody's on it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I remember I did do a Vobes show one New Year, something, I can't remember when it was, but we actually did it. We did it from 8 till 10. And because I knew that after 10, the internet gets, everyone's on their phone and all of this, and they're drunk, and in the end, it's a bit daft. So I think it's actually better to do it before the New Year, because what you're going to do, it's a bit predictable. It's like, oh, here we are, 2021, Happy New Year, yay! And then let's hope the New Year's going to be better than this year, yay! And I've done it. There you go. That was it. I'll just take that out, play that at the time. But I think people have more time because they're sort of winding up. They've got those 2 hours. What are we going to do before? We've got to keep ourselves awake. Oh, we'll watch a bit of the Vobes for 2 hours. I could go on till 11. And then say, do you know what? I'm going to bed now. Because I normally go to bed. I don't bother with...
You'd be a lot better than watching that Jules Holland or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah. I watch him anyway. I haven't got a telly.
Because I'm usually in bed for the 12 o'clock. I went into London once. I thought it was the worst experience ever. And since then, it's like, no, I'll have a glass of champagne by the side of the bed and then go off to sleep.
Yeah. I'm not really one for marking these things. I mean, it's nice to know that it's happened. I wake up and go, oh, that's the New Year. But, generally I'm sort of out on New Year's Day making a video because it's a great day to do it because everybody's in bed. And get out nice and early. Same with Christmas morning. That's a great time. Get out really early before anybody's got in their car and travelled. You've got the world to yourself. They're the time. And if it's a nice...
Did you know that Boxing Day is one of the busiest days on allotment sites?
Is it?
Because people are just fed up and they just want to go somewhere. So there's this tradition that you sow your onions on Boxing Day, but I think it's only based on the fact that you need an excuse to get away from everybody.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, doesn't it? Sow your onions on Boxing Day.
Talking about getting away from everybody, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and watch the rest of the show.
Well, the rest of the show, I think the show is pretty much done now. We're 28 minutes past. It's time for my bed. Yeah.
For some bizarre reason, I thought we were going on until 10.
Is that right?
So yeah. Like I said, I'm a bit confused today.
Yeah. Well, let's. I hope you feel better anyway tomorrow. Have a good one. Have a nice early night. And thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. There we go. That was Sean James Cameron. How marvellous. And lots of interesting bits and pieces over there. Welsh Wanderer Jason Patrick says, hi, Richard. How keeping like summer shirt? He says, you like the shirt? It's a nice shirt, isn't it? The lovely Julia recommended this shirt, actually, keeping summer alive. I'd rather be in bed asleep than see the new year in, says Judith. Yes, I agree, really. I think it must be that we get to a certain age when, you've been there, done it now. It's like it's not such a novelty anymore because it's always the same. Audrey says, I don't like New Year's Eve. Robert Croster says, the Isle of Man, isn't that why me and Kevin are there? I don't know what he's on about. Jeff says, Boxing Day, that's the day after Christmas. Yes, that's the day you box everything up and take it back. No, that's not the real reason. That's the day that in the days of service, you would get a box from your employer, which would probably contain an apple, a couple of coins, and your list of things you need to do that day. Linda Kane says, haven't celebrated New Year's Eve. Can't stay awake. Mind you, I was young. Josh says, why is it called Boxing Day? Just done that. And Andrew Murphy says, hi, Richard. You will have a moment of Murphy for Friday. Something to look forward to there. Well, that would be great. And Audrey says it's the day employers traditionally leave their service at Christmas. Yes, exactly. And Robert Baxter says, isn't Boxing Day the day you traditionally open presents? So that's where it gets its name from. That's incorrect. We hope 2021 is going to be COVID-free. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, but I think we may eventually get to understand that it's perhaps not as grim as everybody's made out. And hopefully, people will have just sort of dealt with it now. And that'll be 2020 will be a year of put that in the box and forget about it. That can go in Boxing Day. That was a bit of a strange year. Anyway, we're not there yet. We're only in September. We mustn't wish the year away. We've got the lovely autumn colours to get through, which is going to be fantastic, and I look forward to filming those with my camera. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for all our wonderful videos from Mike Dixon, from Gabriel, from Jeff, and from Dave for his amazing blooper, which we enjoyed.
Well, eventually the industry became uneconomic here. The coming of the railways was an important part of the history of the action. Well, eventually the coming of the...
And of course it gets funnier the more you see it. Anyway, that's it. Thanks, Dave. Sorry to take the mickey, but it's all good fun. He says that quickly before he gets punched in the nose. I will be back on Friday. Tomorrow we have a video from Frances Sedgwick about her Dexters. A difficult one. This one, it's the final journey. The time when she's actually selected her Dexter cows and they're going to the abattoir. It's not a grim one. It's done very sensitively. It's really about the situation and the importance of understanding the message. That will be out for you tomorrow. And the reading. Hopefully I'm not delayed. And I will be there at 4 o'clock. I've been delayed a couple of times this week. But hopefully tomorrow things will be a bit more normal. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. It's Thursday tomorrow, I think. So, and I believe it's going to be colder here in the UK, but the sun will come out and be about 20 odd degrees, which will be nice. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the phone calls, trying to get back into the thing, and I will see you on. Until then, bye-bye from me. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Thanks to Judith. Thanks to Julia. And thanks to you. Cheerio and bye-bye. I didn't mean to press that one. I meant to press that one.